Funny Global News. I hope wherever you are able to hear us loud and clear. Something weird about today's live broadcast. I can hear my voice, and I hope everybody is hearing my voice. Now, there is a lot of things that have been happening, especially during the course of the day, where we saw, Holy Ten, especially waking up today, having recorded something on his Instagram that went so viral. And a lot of people are trying to speculate. And with me here, we have a comrade who is in ZANU-PF to help us, understand these issues. And also today, we did not get a live feed of the program of the president. It's so weird. I think it has never happened before. Definitely something fishy is happening. And this is bigger than me. I need someone at least with inside information. And today we have got our guest, that is Traore. I think he needs no introduction. You can greet our viewers. Let me greet them and love them and welcome on this live. Welcome them on this live broadcast. And if they are watching us for the very first time, and invite them to actually press the red or black subscribe button. I don't know. I see there's an echo. I don't know what is happening. But from side, let me try to. Okay. Now I don't know whether it's better. Are you hearing me, comrade?
Definitely, I can hear you clearly. My side,
Okay.
it's okay.
So, okay. So I don't know. Can you, Simon Dennis? Can you please confirm whether now it's coming okay? But I think let's try to continue. If it's really irritating people from your side, also maybe we may restart afresh. Comrade, maybe just to introduce yourself to the viewers of this channel, who you are in terms of ZANU-PF, so that they understand you and get to understand that you are a credible source. That is why we are always inviting you here.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Malcolm Masarira, and the name that most people call me with is Comrade Traore. Well, I'm from Manicaland Province, the information officer at provincial level from Manicaland Province, and also the youth chairperson for ZANU-PF.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, just take us through. I know maybe my audio has a problem. Just bear with me. But if you are able to hear me, just let's just bear with me. I see Simon Dennis is not comfortable with it, and others, I'm sure they may not be comfortable with it. Tell us something. What is happening with the Holy Ten? Help us to understand, as someone who has worked with who is working with ZANU-PF, part of the youth leadership. Do you think it's drugs? What is happening with that young man?
Now, drugs are a trigger. Now, what makes people behave normally is that when you're not under the substance of anything, definitely your behavior is very normal. But when you're definitely taking something, be it alcohol itself, we're not talking about crystal meth or any other types of substances or drugs. Alcohol, it's a trigger. Of which now, the problem with Africans is we're not really cognizant with issues of mental welfare. We're a bit arrogant, especially when going through the hardships that people are currently going through. You definitely need a bit of some help from medical doctors, a bit of some prescription of medication that you need to take. But we just go through all of these. And also, men go through a lot as far as issues of providing are concerned. Then now, in this particular case, there definitely is something that triggered the behavior of Holy Ten. Now, when you find someone like Holy Ten speaking, you need to know there's a difference between Zim dancehall and hip hop. Zim dancehall, it's way too casual. But with hip hop, you need to put lines, and one has to be really, really meticulous. And most of hip hop, everyone knows it because it has a lot to do with poetry, and in this case it's poetry in music. So when you see Holy Ten behaving in such a way, there has to be something that would have triggered him to behave in such a way. And obviously, people need to understand this. Holy 10 feels used at this point. And there is something that definitely made Holy 10 to overlook the fact that Sean and Collins are part of the first family and they are representing ZANU-PF. You cannot tell Holy 10 how dangerous ZANU-PF is because he's in it and he's seen many cases, one or two cases, where people have been made examples. Zimbabwe presently, it's not a democratic space. You can definitely go to prison for anything. The court, the judiciary is captured, and the Holy 10 knows that having to do a silly mistake will bear consequences. And in this case, there has something has actually happened that has compromised lines of respect. Now we come to the issue of substance abuse. Woliton lately, he has not been behaving in a proper way. You can actually see that he's taking some substances which are triggering him to go beyond normal, to go beyond lines of respect, to go beyond rationality. And in this case, he's gone full throttle and is promising the Mnangagwa boys that if you come to me, I will definitely shoot you. Obviously, he's referring to guns, hip hop and guns. You cannot separate hip hop and guns. And the only kind of violence that would match sons of the first family would be guns. So there has been rumors that have been going up and down, that have been doing rounds within the circles of social media. Some are actually saying that it could be that Holy 10, one of the boys, particularly Sean, might have fathered a child with Kimberly, the wife of Holy 10. And it has been doing rounds also that even when it came to paying Lobola, Holy 10 actually paid 15,000. So this is not a figure that you can play with if you're to realize later on that the child that you even came up with a song with, the Holy 10 actually wrote a song which was a hit, which was called My Jew. And only for you to realize at a later stage that the child is not yours. And also the second thing, the withdrawal of the gifts which were given to Holy 10. Mind you, Holy 10, most artists were getting cars from Say Wicknell, and in this particular case, Holy 10 is the only artist, one of the few artists that got these gifts directly from the first family. Meaning to say, Holy 10 is a darling son of the first family. And for him to behave in such a way, something big must have happened. And unfortunately, there are quite one or two theories as people are suspecting what could have really transpired. But one thing that has been confirmed so far is that the cars were taken back. There were a couple of gifts that they were given to Holy 10, and those things were taken back by the twins of the Mnangagwa family.
Maybe if we are to interact with that, what made them to take those gifts back, in your view?
Now,
Maybe,
Holy
maybe
10,
what was the purpose of the gifts?
you
Do you
cannot
think it was for luring him to ZANU-PF, or there was something more, especially linking it with what you have just said is the speculation on social media at the moment?
whatever that happened, it was one thing, but it served two purposes. This is what I would like to believe. It's one stone that I don't know whether to say fortunately or what, but it's one stone that fortunately managed to hit two birds at the same time. Now, Holy 10 himself says, you guys engaged me to do a PR to convince the youth. Holy 10 calls himself the leader of the youth, speaker of the truth. So he's got quite a following. Looking at the numbers that follow Zimi hip hop, you cannot rule Holy 10 out. You see, so obviously he actually alluded to the fact that these people deliberately engaged him to do a PR stunt on the citizens so that at least the numbers for the party, as far as voting for Mnangagwa is concerned, at least it will add up to the numbers. So he was really
Okay, and
engaged
then
for this.
if we if we are listening, sorry, if we are listening to what he has just put on the public domain, that he has the potential to collapse ZANU-PF. Of course, someone may take it literally, but in my view, I'm thinking maybe this man has something more than uh, just the support that he brings to the ZANU-PF. What's your take on that?
Now, I like what you said. It can if Holy Ten would match the muscle of the twins, definitely they would not have visited, they would not have sent people as purported with social media news that is circulating, that military guys were actually sent to Holy Ten's place to get these gifts. So the fact that he could not stop these people, it means if he's to bring these people down, it's not in literal sense, it's not in going for pound, but rather denting the image. From the looks of things, Holy Ten knows quite a lot of things that will destroy the image of the twins from the first family.
And I've heard that these people are friends dating back from school days. Is that true?
On that, I cannot really confirm. But what I know is they've got a good relationship. They had a good relationship. That is
Okay.
why when he went to
Okay.
Ola,
It's quite interesting because we want to hear more, even your views. They are very, very important on this matter. It is of public importance because when the first family is accused to such an extent, people really need to know what is exactly happening behind the doors.
now, I ran a poll on my channel.
Mhm.
Who is the most popular person? Emerson with Zimbabweans, Emerson Mnangagwa or Holy Ten. And to my surprise, Emerson Mnangagwa got 7 votes and Holy Ten got 264.
Yeah.
So already it shows that whatever that will come from the mouth of Holy Ten, people will listen to it. Unfortunately, Holy Ten made one mistake. Social
Mm,
media in Zimbabwe is owned by Nelson Chamisa and Winky D.
mm,
So Holy Ten had an altercation with Winky D. He started to attack Winky D, and it did not really go down well with the citizens of
mhm,
Zimbabweans. So it did not before that issue. Social media will be ablaze right now as everyone will be fighting in the corner of Holy Ten. But because of that mistake, not really many people are giving ear or attention to the issue of Holy Ten. But people are still waiting to hear if anything he will say will lead to the downfall of Zviganandas, because Holy Ten knows the first family
mhm,
is at its weakest. He really knows this that the first family is at its weakest. And
mhm,
therefore, if he's to say anything at this point, he's speaking from first hand, from a first hand witness, someone who knows this people, because all of Zimbabweans knows these people have got a good relationship. That is why after
mm,
Holy Ten went to Ola 7 podcast, he said quite a lot
mm,
of things, which we're supposed to send him to prison. But obviously, we
mm,
know the states are, the judiciary is captured. And because of his
mm,
connection with the boys, obviously they put in a wait for him that I know is one of us. And even afterwards, we saw
mm,
Holy Ten at one function, one function where Zviganandas were giving out their handouts, and we saw Holy Ten giving a speech there saying ED,
mm,
Uchi, Mnangagwa, Uchi, and also we know they've got quite an intimate relationship with the first family. But at this point
mm,
now, Holy Ten is definitely waiting for these people to make a move. And if they make a move of trying to either send some people to beat him up or send him to prison, he will make sure that he releases something to the public that will do more
mhm.
damage to the image of the first family at this point. And they need
But
to be
also,
cautious also.
I'm just thinking, will they allow him to go to such an extent? Is his life not in danger at this moment?
He doesn't care. Just because those that have been monitoring, that have been engaging, interacting with Holy Ten, of late they are saying the guy's been drinking too much. As early
Okay.
as 6 a.m., the guy would be drunk already. So it would be good to engage him if there was a moment whereby the guy would be at least sober. Then he would get to his senses and actually analyze, introspect, and see that, no, at least it's going overboard. But in this case, it's as if Holy Ten is adding more petrol, more petrol, more petrol to this whole situation. And had there been engagements, we could have been seeing something different happening now, because mind you, this issue started yesterday. And by today, it's now in the evening. By now, at least we could have seen something that shows there's a bit of some dialogue. But it seems as if Holy Ten is keeping on firing salve. Which is
Yeah, because I saw something, I think about 4 or so hours ago, where he was threatening to shoot CIOs, anyone who would be sent
yes,
to
yes.
actually. Yes.
The worst case scenario, the worst case scenario that I'm seeing, whatever that happened, it really destroyed the inside man of Holy Ten. And with the mess that is causing, if these relatives don't reach out to him as soon as possible, Holy Ten will become a suicidal case. The eventuality of the matter is Holy Ten committing suicide.
So
And very
I'm
unfortunate for
just
the first family.
I'm just tempted to ask this question. Is it safe for young people then to join ZANU-PF that uses them in such a manner and then chuck them out when they are almost, if we can say, done with them in the case of this man? Because it appears somewhere, somehow, he has been used and they no longer need him. And that is how he feels, looking at how he is behaving at the moment.
Now, before one becomes a politician, you need to know this before you become an activist, a public figure that is pushing a certain narrative. One has to know that we are not robots. Therefore, we are all wired to different frequencies. And therefore, you need to know what pushed you to join politics. Like for myself, I know there is never anything that is going to come out of the opposition just because they don't seem to be learning. It's infiltration after infiltration. If it's not Chabangu, it's Kupe. If it's not Kupe, it's Welshman Ngube. If it's not Welshman Ngube, it's another person. It's Mudzuri. The cycle is simultaneous. It's never ending. Therefore, Wallington is ZANU-PF. I'm ZANU-PF. Taurai Kandishaya is ZANU-PF. John Paradza is ZANU-PF. But if all of us are to stand in a straight line, you'll actually see a big difference.
So you mean to tell me that individuals like Professor Welshman Ngube were infiltrating the opposition, Thokozani Kupe and others that you have mentioned?
Obviously, man, it's not a matter of principle, because if you really understand if you really believe in the power of numbers, there is no point of separating, especially when you've got a strong opponent like ZANU-PF. It's pointless for this one to go their own way. You see, just because basically it's all a matter of money. Money, when money is put on the table, it's exactly the same thing that makes people go separate ways. So why not just come up with plans to make sure that each and everyone has got enough to keep them going, so that whatever offer that comes on the table, people will resist and say, no, this is not necessary.
Okay, quite interesting. Anyway, let's leave Holy 10 a little bit and go to the second part so that I can release you. We are noticing that today I was trying to look for a live feed, thinking that I will hear the president addressing the nation, or maybe ZANU-PF supporters in their event today. It was launching of the funds for Women's League in ZANU-PF. But we never saw a live feed. We only saw pictures Is this a new strategy in your view of actually not exposing what Mnangagwa says live? Are they realizing that he's making a lot of mistakes, especially when he make live public address?
Definitely, it's actually a strategy, and there's a lot to expect, especially after we all saw zviganandas in one place. Kuda kwashe Tagwire, Obey Chimuka, Afia, then Scott Sakupkanya, and quite a
Mm,
lot of them. We saw them at
mm,
one place. So obviously, there have been some meetings currently underway where they were discussing and strategizing on how best they can counter General Chiwenga and those that are rallying behind him. So it's quite obvious that obviously this is a new strategy. Just because look at the place now. This is HICC. It's one of the
mm.
best places, and if you were to look at the pictures, the place was packed, was really packed. And now it's difficult for Emerson Mnangagwa to say anything that is appealing to the people now, because his message of late, it's about reaching out to just a few individuals and giving them goodies, just like the meeting for today. Whereas now, if you're to beam it live, there is no way you'll say you'll only show where Emerson Mnangagwa is speaking and not where Vice President General Chiwenga is speaking. Because now we need to look at the message which General Chiwenga is saying at this crucial point in time, whereby most Zimbabweans are disgruntled. It's like he's become the greatest force of the opposition, whatever that people would have expected Nelson Chamisa to be saying at this point in time. General
Mm.
Chiwenga is saying those things. It's all about building Zimbabwe. He's all speaking about equality, fair and equal distribution of wealth, equal opportunities for all of Zimbabweans, and dealing with corruption. You see, and he's
Okay,
attacking
so
Ganandes.
you raised a very important question that people wants to hear at this moment. What is the word from retired General Chiwenga? Now, do you think that I'm just troubled in my mind because I'm thinking that will actually affect him. Because, for example, today we don't know what he said. We don't equally know what Mnangagwa said, but most probably Mnangagwa was saved because he could have actually released a lot of information that we would be busy with at the moment, poking it. But on retired General Chiwenga, there is absolutely nothing. Maybe we were going to get something on Mnangagwa. There is equally nothing of which is a benefit to the Mnangagwa faction. They will now use technocrats in the form of state media to project a technical narrative. Don't you think that strategically endangers the faction of retired General Chiwenga?
Now, in their view, obviously, after having calculated, they think it is going to hinder and compromise the effectiveness of General Chiwenga and whatever that is standing for. But it's not really the case. Just because
Mm,
we realize that there's just too much propaganda. If you're to look into the social media circles and other informal media
mm,
areas, you'll see that now Varakashi have got not don't have much to say at this point in time, because it's like
yes.
uh, uh, everyone is just complaining that are you really normal? And people have been making jokes about the lunar eclipse. That
Mm,
obviously Varakashi, we are waiting for your postman. We know you just try and twist everything. You will attribute this to Mnangagwa, the lunar
mm,
eclipse and tourism and everything. That is the one who's making it possible towards a middle income economy. People are making fun of Marrakesh. So
yes.
we have become general Chiwenga in groups, because whatever that people want, whatever people are saying on social media platforms, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, be it WhatsApp, that's the same message which General Chiwenga is talking about. So everything that is happening within social media circles is pointing right at General Chiwenga that he must save us. This is where the advantage is. There is no way General Chiwenga will always appear to the people and give them hope and give them hope and give them hope without a time frame which he knows and without a proper plan to save Zimbabweans.
Okay, but now I see, I think I analyze social media. I see that a lot of people are putting much of their hope to the men. But now the $1 million question uh, is this not a miscalculation for the people to do
If
so?
not, the question is, if not him, where else can they place their hope?
There are
It's not
some.
like they
Anyway,
find themselves
I'm just trying to help you here. There are some who thinks that he has been slow to act, and the zviganandas and the Mnangagwa, they are actually entrenching, I mean, in terms of their strategy, so that there would be
yes.
no point of return, and he may find himself in the corner and having nothing to do.
You know what? We need to be fair when looking at these
Yes.
issues. Sometimes, because we love a person so much, we've got so much hope in him, does not mean we cannot look at the other side of the coin. Now, we've got Jim Kunaka. Jim Kunaka is in prison. I heard they arrested him there in Zimbabwe. Obviously, we know it's for political reasons. Jim Kunaka is known to be a loyalist of General Chiwenga. He's not the only one. We've got people like Godwin Gomwe. Godwin Gomwe. They fired him from the party. And everyone knows they fired him on the basis of his loyalty to the vice president. Myself, I'm in exile. It's almost a year now. I'm living in exile. And it's like every day I want all of this to end. And that is the case with everyone. And also the other side of it is when people don't know when something will as long as persecuting people is concerned, that is where Mnangagwa and his team are exerting all of their energy to make sure that whoever that tries to speak out against them,
So,
they will come and hit you hard.
okay, we are seeing a lot of people are being arrested, and Chiwenga is not actually acting to rescue the, especially we're talking of Jim Kunaka, and there are numerous others who have been fired from ZANU-PF, some exiled. There are people like Nyoka Mapunu, they have been arrested in South Africa. There is a lot of actually intimidation, threats, as well as also, I mean, targeting specifically of the supporters of retired General Chiwenga, and they don't actually hide that. So, in your own view, what should Chiwenga do at this moment in time?
When you want to be a political activist, make sure that you've got nothing that can be traced back to you, be it crimes that you committed in the past and something like this. Because now the country's been suffering for too long to the extent that some people were actually had to do one or two things which are not right to survive also. And these are some of the things that the faction is actually digging out to make sure that they send strong people into prison. And also, like you say, take that I know. It's you must do something, you must say something. But we need to understand something also that you cannot tell a person when to save you, especially if he did not send you.
There is a new
This was
development.
my new.
Sorry, there is a new development, especially on Holy 10. I'm sure maybe you are not following, but I'm following here. He has just
No.
written this that you and your father run a terrorist organization. Holy 10 tell, I mean, to President Mnangagwa, son calling. Then he says, "Dear Collins Mnangagwa, you can't touch me. And the moment you try, you are really providing to all of us that you and your father run a terrorist organization."
Yes, I did see this one.
Yes.
I did see it before.
Okay.
Just I think just a few minutes before
Okay.
I came to the program. And Olitan is on point. Olitan is on point
In your
because
own view, sorry, I don't want to like put you on the corner. Don't you think there is a force behind Holy Ten now?
no, there's no force behind.
Okay.
Now,
Uh,
Olitan, Olitan is a liability, man. I don't think anyone would want to do anything with Olitan just because Olitan is ungovernable. He's not a person
okay.
that you can really plan something and they will see everything through. No, 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 no. He does what he
Mhm.
wants.
Yes.
You can't contain him. He's one of those rogue guy. He's just talented.
Mhm.
He's intelligent, but I feel it's also got to do with his background. If that guy received good mentorship, I'm telling you, that guy would be singing on international stages there
Mhm.
in America, Brazil, France, all of those platforms. But it's because of that. Naturally, the guy lacks proper discipline.
Okay.
So that's why I
Yeah.
dispute the fact that there might be a force behind.
Okay.
It's a big risk. It's a
Okay,
big
thank you
risk.
very much. So today, I didn't want to say a lot because like for example, I don't follow Holy Ten. I just decided to be more interested when I heard the political aspect of it. Because these days the topical issue is factionalism in ZANU-PF and succession. So anything that give us some element of that, we try to run to it and listen to it because information is very scarce in Zimbabwe, so to speak. So anyway, your last words, comrade, on this program. What can you tell the viewers
In
as a
capital
supporter of
letters.
retired General Chuen?
Okay, before I get to that, I think in capital letters, I will say my
Mm,
greatest fear for whatever that is happening to Oli 10 is everything is leading him towards self implosion. If
mm,
the matter is not handled carefully
mm,
by people who robbed in to ZANU PF, who robbed him in to campaign for them, whoever that gave them those gifts on whatever agreement, if people are
mm.
not careful, Oli 10 will commit suicide.
Yeah.
Holy 10
Yeah,
will
yeah,
commit
but
suicide.
also don't you think that the family of Mnangagwa may actually use that to eliminate the men?
Not really.
I'm
Holy
being
10.
very careful here because we are dealing with very dangerous people, especially when they want to get rid of a problem.
Worst case scenario for those people is to send Holy 10 to prison. But obviously, they will have to wait a bit. The greatest, the
Mm,
best plan would be to
mhm.
for the situation to subside, then obviously assign someone to go and report Wellington. Wellington is reckless. To go to the police right now and ask if there are a bit of some dockets for him, it's not surprising. You'll find two or three.
Okay,
So the best case scenario is just to wait a bit for the situation to calm a bit. Then afterwards, someone will just go and press charges.
okay.
Good riddance.
Yeah, yeah, we
He's a
wish.
time bomb by himself.
I don't know. Sometimes when you see young people losing their lives in such a manner, it's because it shows that something somewhere somehow there is something that is offish with him. Anyway, even though we are not close to him, and I hope the situation
Because
will
what he's
actually
saying, there's
resolve
huge
itself.
damage within Wellington. There's huge damage within Wellington because
Yeah.
the things that he's saying, they are not things that you can actually sit on the table and say, no, what you did was wrong. Next time you must not say this. These are things that even if you are to say sorry,
Yes.
You can't fix it anymore. You
Yeah.
see, he's
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
more damage. He's done more damage to the first family, and people are even wondering, of ZANU-PF has got structures. Why would they engage a person like Holy Ten? Why
Mm.
didn't they rebuke him, bring him to order after the Ola podcast?
Don't you think it's
You
karma
see,
somewhere, somehow on Nanga?
definitely that is it. I agree with you 150%. It's karma, man.
Mm.
Everything that which those that it does, it's crashing down at this point. Everything which they seem to touch, it just goes bad.
Yeah, I was almost going to come to that. That everything that they're trying to build, somewhere, somehow, of course, though they are accusing us on social media for for destroying them, but I have seen them self-destructing themselves.
Yes, yes, yes. Now,
Mm.
none of us knew about any of this up until only yesterday evening. That Holy Ten
Yes,
went on Instagram live and he started attacking the family, the first family. That's when people got to know that some other people didn't actually know he got the gifts from Sean and
yes.
Collins. You see,
We
because
didn't
people are
know. For
actually
example, I didn't know. It's the first time I actually
you
heard
see now.
about this.
And we've got people who have been working for the party, who work in the
Mm.
commissariat department, who actually deserved to be given those gifts. But they are
Mhm.
surprised that, Holy Ten was given all of those things, but he's never even wrote one cell of the party or attended a rally and sat in the sun for just 30 minutes. So people are
But
not
also,
happy
do you
that
think
he's
the politics of gifts in generally will this take the country forward? A gentleman, let us be honest. This thing of giving gifts people in order for them to support you, I don't
it's not
politically. What?
sustainable. It's not sustainable, unfortunately. Now,
Mm.
this is why these people, they're taking advantage of the fact that they look for a person like Traore. They realize
Mhm.
this guy has got a bit of some following. Let's give him something like what they did to Hubert Angel, what they did to
Mhm.
Mdalam Tendi, and many of
Mhm.
these guys. It's difficult if a protest is to be called for now, for anyone who comes from Hubert Angel's church to go to a protest. The spiritual father was just given to by weekend. Anyone who loves Jah Praiser will never go to a protest because Jah Praiser himself will not attend. Why? He's benefiting from the dispensation. He's getting gifts. So every corner where we expect people to come from, so we can have a convergence of change, has been compromised, has been infiltrated. So
Mhm.
it destroys the democratic space because people cannot think for themselves anymore and come up with a strategy that liberates the people. But
Mhm.
now we're having people thinking for most people. That is where it's difficult now.
Okay, comrade. I think we can talk until the cows come back home. I think let me thank you for sharing insights with us. You are always welcome on this channel, and I'll be inviting you more often, especially when there are confusing issues such as this one. I hope people now have an idea of what is happening, though not
Yes.
100%, but almost something they can reason around what is happening in Zimbabwe now.
The issue is to deal with people, to
Mhm.
convince them that what we can do for you, Chiwenga will never
Mhm.
do for you. You
Yes.
see now. This was people are asking themselves that yet General Chiwenga been the president.
Mhm.
Could they have given me this car? Definitely not. He was not going to give you a car because he does not deal with strategies that benefit individuals. He's looking at
Mhm.
leading Zimbabwe from a national perspective, which is collective and
Mhm.
consultative, where everyone stands to benefit.
Mhm. Mhm.
You see
Okay.
now.
I think okay. I think we will see. Hopefully, get also his time, and only time will tell. So, last words, comrades. Do you think people should really pin their hopes on one of your revered leader, Chiwenga?
General Chiwenga is the real deal. General Chiwenga
Mm,
is the solution. I think there was a video which I circulated today
mm.
when Vice President Chiwenga arrived at HICC. You can actually see that man is in charge. People love him and people respect him genuinely, unlike the situation of Mnangagwa when he's greeting his people. You can see that people are ahead of him. They know, they can feel, they can smell his ruthlessness. So with General Chiwenga, you could actually see some women throwing jokes at him, engaging with him freely. And for someone who's always interacting with people every weekend, he attends midweek services, he attends Sunday services. So he's got a better understanding of what people go through every day, which is a good start. You
Oh,
see, we would like a leader that actually takes time to go to the prayer mountain,
mm,
something like that. So people must pin their hopes on General Chiwenga.
mm.
I've listened to him, I've seen how he does things, and I know he will not disappoint.
Okay. It's
It seems we are not ending this. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate
for
it.
your time. I think we'll need another session to talk about. Kindly share a video that you have been talking about. I missed it totally.
I will definitely.
Yeah, I want. Okay, thank you very much, my brother, for your time.
Thank you so much, man.
We'll invite you definitely sometime soon, and thank you for always unveiling yourself, especially when you are needed.
Thank you. Anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again to our lovely viewers. Please, if you're watching us for the very first time, please to remember to press the red on, so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one.